It's 1956. For some, the best time to be alive. Nothing was off limits. So why is it all now illegal? Job advertisements in the 1950s were explicitly divided into help-wanted male and help-wanted female sections in the newspaper. Men were typically offered positions in business, engineering, and trades, while women were steered towards roles in teaching, clerical work, and domestic services. This practice reinforced traditional gender roles and limited opportunities for women in the workforce. Although common at the time, it created structural barriers to economic independence and career advancement. The passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 outlawed employment discrimination based on sex, helping to eliminate gender-specific job listings and promote equal access. During the mid-20th century, parents were commonly advised to keep a bottle of ipecac syrup in the home to induce vomiting in case of accidental poisoning. This was considered a responsible precaution, and pediatricians often recommended it. The idea was to remove the toxic substance from the stomach before it could be absorbed into the body. However, later research revealed that inducing vomiting was not always effective and could sometimes cause more harm than good. Modern poison control centers now advise against using ipecac and instead recommend calling professionals for guidance in any poisoning emergency.
What cigarette do you smoke, Doctor? Once again, the brand named most was Camel. Yes, according to this repeated nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Advertising in the 1950s operated with minimal oversight, allowing companies to make bold and often misleading claims about their products. Cigarette ads featured doctors endorsing specific brands, while diet products and soft drinks promised effortless weight loss. Products were marketed aggressively, often targeting women and children with unsubstantiated health benefits or exaggerated results. Regulatory agencies like the FDA and FTC had limited power to intervene at the time. Over the following decades, public awareness and health concerns led to stronger regulations and advertising standards, including truth in advertising laws and warnings on potentially harmful products. Asbestos was widely used in the 1950s due to its fire-resistant and insulating properties. It could be found in insulation, floor tiles, roofing materials, and even household appliances. At the time, the health risks associated with asbestos exposure were largely unknown to the public, and it was praised as a versatile and modern material. Unfortunately, prolonged exposure was later linked to serious health issues, such as mesothelioma and other lung diseases. Despite growing concerns, it took many years for regulations to catch up, and many buildings constructed during this era still contain asbestos today. Proper removal now requires specialized handling due to its known dangers. Recollection Road is proud to partner with LEGACYBOX. If you've considered preserving your family's memories, then watch until the end of this video to see how LEGACYBOX can help you do it. During the 50s, littering was a common and widely accepted practice. There were few public trash bins, and little emphasis was placed on proper waste disposal or environmental responsibility. People frequently discarded items like wrappers, bottles, and cigarette butts in streets, parks, and along highways. As consumer culture grew and packaging became more disposable, the volume of litter increased. It wasn't until later decades that organized campaigns began to shift public attitudes and promote cleaner public spaces. Today, littering is discouraged by both law and social norms, with many cities enforcing fines and public education programs. In the 1950s, lobotomies were considered a legitimate medical treatment for various mental health conditions, including depression, schizophrenia, and anxiety. Prominent physicians promoted the procedure widely, often with little regard for long-term consequences. In many cases, patients underwent the operation without fully informed consent, and it was not uncommon for lobotomies to be performed to control behavior rather than treat illness. The procedure often resulted in severe and irreversible side effects, including cognitive impairment and personality changes. Today, lobotomies are seen as a dark chapter in the history of psychiatry and are no longer considered an acceptable form of treatment. Even after child labor laws were enacted, many children in the 1950s continued to work, especially in rural areas and family-run businesses. It was common for kids to deliver newspapers, work on farms, or take summer jobs in factories or stores. This labor was often viewed as a way to instill responsibility and contribute to the family income. However, the line between helpful work and exploitative labor was not always clearly defined. Over time, stricter enforcement of labor laws and a greater emphasis on education shifted cultural norms, and child labor gradually declined in most formal industries. In the 1950s, some cosmetics and health products contained radioactive ingredients, such as radium, which at the time were believed to rejuvenate the skin and boost vitality. These products were marketed as scientifically advanced and were often quite expensive. However, the health risks associated with radiation exposure were poorly understood or ignored. Long-term use led to severe medical issues, including radiation sickness and cancer. As scientific knowledge improved, these products were removed from the market, and regulations were put into place to prevent the use of hazardous substances in personal care items. Hitchhiking was a widespread and socially accepted means of travel in the 1950s. It was especially common among young people, military personnel, and those who didn't have cars. The practice was seen as economical and often necessary, especially in areas with limited public transportation. Trust in strangers was higher, and few people considered it inherently dangerous. Over time, however, concerns about personal safety and a rise in violent crime contributed to a sharp decline in hitchhiking. Today, the practice is far less common, and in many places, it's against the law. In the 1950s, it was relatively easy for a family member to have someone committed to a mental institution, often with little legal oversight. This process was sometimes used to control or remove individuals who exhibited non-conforming behavior, especially for women. Mental health facilities were frequently overcrowded, and patients had limited rights once admitted. Many were institutionalized for years, sometimes without proper treatment or the ability to advocate for themselves. In later years, reforms were introduced to protect patient rights and ensure that mental health care was based on medical necessity rather than social convenience. Burning household garbage in backyards was a standard practice in the 1950s, especially in rural or suburban areas without regular waste collection. People disposed of paper, food waste, and even plastics and chemicals in burn barrels or pits. At the time, there was little understanding of the environmental or health risks associated with burning synthetic materials. The smoke often carried toxic substances, contributing to air pollution and potential respiratory issues. Today, burning household waste is banned or heavily regulated in many areas, and communities rely on organized waste management systems and recycling programs. In many households during the 1950s, washing out a child's mouth with soap was a commonly accepted form of punishment for swearing or lying. This practice was passed down through generations and considered a way to teach discipline and respect. However, it posed health risks, as ingesting soap can cause nausea, irritation, and other side effects. Over time, this method of discipline fell out of favor as parenting standards evolved and awareness grew about safer and more constructive ways to address behavioral issues. Today, it is widely regarded as inappropriate and potentially harmful. Therefore, it could be considered child abuse. Recollection Road loves to recommend LEGACYBOX because we both believe in preserving the past. If you have a cluttered closet with cherished home videos and photos that rarely see the light of day, then you need to visit LEGACYBOX.com/recollection. These irreplaceable heirlooms are rapidly fading away, and they deserve to be digitized and shared with family and friends. And right now, LEGACYBOX is offering you $9 tape transfers. The process is simple. Send in your LEGACYBOX filled with old VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, and pictures. Their team will professionally digitize everything by hand, right here in the USA. You'll get the originals returned to you, along with organized digital copies. I love LEGACYBOX because it makes all my favorite memories available anytime. I can post them on social media or pull up a slideshow on my TV, which keeps special family moments alive. Visit LEGACYBOX.com/recollection to shop their $9 tape sale. That's LEGACYBOX.com/recollection to unlock this incredible offer. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and make sure to check the description of this video for links to pick up a t-shirt and sign up for the newsletter. Thank you to our loyal Patreon supporters listed here. Visit patreon.com/recollectionroad to join the club.